Hello everyone, welcome to part 2 of my Earth tutorial. Be sure to watch the entire video as I'm going to give you several tips and tricks on using Blender throughout this entire video. Also, make sure you've watched part 1 of the tutorial so that you will have all the assets you need so far, because in part 1 of the tutorial we covered how to texture the planet, as well as adding clouds in the atmosphere, as well as adding the Milky Way texture background. Okay, so for this part of the tutorial, we're actually going to start a new composition. We're going to go ahead and hit Control N, General. Okay, so we have a brand new composition here. We're going to go ahead and left click and drag and select everything and delete it. And we're going to hit Shift A, Mesh, and we're going to add a UV sphere. You're going to hit Tab to go into edit mode. And let's see, let's hit 3 to go into faces mode. Let's see, it looks like everything's already automatically selected. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit R to rotate, X on the X axis. So we rotate this thing on the X axis. Let's see, hit the Y right here. Looks like, yep, perfect. Looks like everything's lined up correctly. So first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to align to our X axis right here. So we're looking straight down the X axis. We're going to hit Alt Z to go into X-ray mode. Select all these faces, hit delete faces. Okay, so we've got basically half a sphere here. We're going to hit 2 to go to edges mode. You can do a ring select by holding Alt and selecting this line right here. So we got all these lines selected. We're going to hit E to extrude, and we're going to drag this out along the Y axis by hitting Y. And basically we're going to make a shape that just kind of looks like a sideways grain silo. I've never worked on a farm, but I know what a grain silo looks like. Okay, so Alt Z, get out of X-ray mode. And so now what we have is what looks kind of like a bullet. Gonna hit F. Okay, fill that in. Fills in all those edges with those edges still selected. Now what we're gonna do is this is gonna get kind of tricky here. We're gonna hit Z to look down our Z axis. We're gonna hit Alt Z to go into X-ray mode. 3 to go into faces mode, and we're gonna select just these faces on the left side of this little bullet here. Gonna hit delete faces. Okay, now what we're going to do, let's see, first what we're going to do is we're going to hit Control R to do an edge loop, and we're going to make about 10 cuts. Okay, hit escape so those all lock into place. Now we're going to hit 3 to go into faces mode and select the back face right here, this circle right here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn on proportional editing. You can either hit the shortcut O or just click this little circle right here. And we're going to hit G and X to snap along the X axis. And if you roll your mouse wheel outward, you're going to notice that it affects, however we roll the mouse wheel, it affects more and more of these faces. But basically it allows us to kind of get a gradual control these faces and kind of moves them in a more natural, it's like if you're sculpting clay or something like that. So okay, basically what we want to do is we want to modify all these faces, but we want to make sure that this rim right here around our original half sphere is not modified, because it needs to, basically when we click the Y, we need to make sure that this center line of this half sphere still lines up perfectly, and you'll see why here in a minute. We'll go ahead. Let's see how we're looking over here. Looking pretty good. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to look down our Y-axis, and we're going to, let's see, we're already in faces mode. If you're not, hit 3 to make sure you're in faces mode. We're going to left click and drag and select all these on this side without this sphere. I'm sorry, hit delete faces. So, okay, so right now, this is what you should have. Make sure you still have this this sphere, right? Or this circle right here. Let's see if we Alt Z, yeah, as you can see, we still have this full circle right here. If not, make sure you go back and repeat the steps to get to this point, because this is vital for what we're creating. What we're going to do right now is we're going to go to our modifiers tab, modifier, generate, mirror. Okay, looking pretty good so far. And let's make sure and hit clipping. And let's say, gonna hit tab, go out of edit mode. So yeah, looking pretty good so far. get it 3, select this circle right here, E to extrude, make sure it's on the Y-axis. We're just going to kind of leave that as is. Now let's see, let's go ahead and let's find, let's go ahead and let's go to our Y-axis and everything. Let's select these 2 outer points of this circle that run along the X-axis, as you can see right here. We're going to hit J to split it in half. And now what we're going to do is we're going to Alt-Z, X-ray mode, 3, faces mode. Select all these faces, delete faces. And now we're going to hit Z, so that mirrors the bottom half of this as well. And yeah, still clipping is still on. Okay, now what we're going to do is with still in X-ray mode. Actually, let's turn off X-ray mode. Hit 2 to go to edges mode. Select this top edge right here. And then Control and Shift, select this edge right here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to hit E to extrude along the X-axis by hitting X. Okay, we're just, as you can see right here, we're kind of closing up some stuff here. Okay, select this edge right here. Make sure you're still in edges mode by hitting 2. And then Control and Shift, and we're going to select this edge right here. Leave this one alone. Don't bother with it for right now. And then we're going to hit E to extrude, X axis. Now what we want to make sure of is we hit 1 to go into vertices mode, Alt-Z, X-ray mode. Select these 2 right here, because there's 2 overlapping vertices right here. We're going to hit M to merge by distance. It should say removed 1 vertices. Okay. And then right here, if we just go to edges mode by hitting 2, select this edge and hit F. That fills in that. Perfect. So, okay. We have something that looks a little, if somebody came walking in right now, they might get the wrong idea. So we're going to keep moving. What we're going to do real quick is we're going to hit, actually what we're going to do also, what we're going to do right now, we're actually going to go ahead and solidify this whole thing. So hit tab to go out of edit mode and go ahead and apply the mirror modifier. What we need to do right now is we hit 3, go into faces mode, right click, dissolve faces. And then I know this seems a little redundant, repetitive, but we're going to go ahead and look back down the Y-axis. We're going to delete half of this again. Select all these. Make sure you're in X-ray mode as well as faces mode by selecting 3. Delete faces. And then we're going to mirror it. Turn on clipping. Okay, before we do anything else, let's make sure we turn off proportional editing by clicking this little circle here. Now we're going to select this face right here, E to extrude, bring this out a bit, S to scale. Let's go ahead and bring this out just a little bit more. Going to hit E to extrude, S to scale. Just going to make a slight rim right here. E to extrude, bring it inward a bit. E to extrude, S to scale. E to extrude, bring this out quite a bit. S to scale. Okay, E to extrude, S to scale. E to extrude, bring it in. Scale it a bit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make sure you're still in faces mode. Hit Alt, select this line right here. So you select all these faces wrapping around this. We're going to hit I to inset, and we're going to hit I to inset again. Okay. Just kind of, we're doing individual insets here. So as you can see, we got all these. What we're going to do is we're going to extrude these, but before we do that, let's go to our pivot point and let's do individual origins. Now I'm going to do E to extrude and bring these out. So as you can see, these are our engines of our ship. Okay, looking good so far. Yeah, liking the way that's looking. Now what we're going to do is, let's see. You know, I know we're getting a little repetitive here, but just bear with me on this, guys. What we need to do is we want to have some, we want to do a lot of mirroring detail here. So we're going to select this vertex and this vertex right here. Just look down the Y-axis for a reference. They should be running along the X-axis. Okay, Alt-Z, back out of X-ray mode. Now we're going to hit J to split those, and we're going to delete the bottom half again by selecting all these in faces mode. Make sure that we got everything. Looks like there's some stragglers. Okay, delete faces. Turn on the Z-axis on our mirror modifier. Okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to add some fins to the ship. We're going to hit 3 faces mode, and let's see. Okay, so we're going to add some fins to our ship. So we're going to, let's do Control R, just add an edge loop right there. And then we're going to hit 3 faces mode. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do E to extrude and bring these out just a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to select this face right here. And let's go to our normals. Let's go to our transformation orientation, change to normals, so that will align to the Z-axis of this particular face right here. Hit G, Z-axis, bring it up. Okay, S to scale, X-axis. Okay, so as you can see, we've got some fins here. I think I'm going to go ahead, hit G, X-axis. We're going to hit X again. Okay, getting kind of a unique ship here going. Now what we're going to do is let's turn on our proportional editing mode again. And we're going to hit 3, select these faces right here up front, hit G, Y-axis. Actually, I'm sorry. Before we do anything, let's change our transformation orientation back to global. Hit G, Y-axis, and we're going to scale this down a bit. Okay, looking good. Hit S to scale, Z-axis. So as you can see, we're getting kind of a ship looking, kind of a shuttle look to it. Looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the way this is looking so far. Let's kind of work on the back here a little bit. We're gonna hit 2 to go into edges mode, and with proportional editing still on, let's hit G, Z-axis. We're gonna shrink our circle down quite a bit. Remember, on these tutorials, a lot of this is just kind of eyeballing and everything. I mean, try to keep up with me as much as I can, but I mean, feel free to kind of do your own thing as far as making a ship and everything. I'm just kind of showing a general way to do this. Now, turn off our proportional editing, hit G, Y-axis. Bring this up a bit towards the front. I'm going to do the same thing here, G, Y-axis, just so we have kind of a slope here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to hit Control R, bring this over a bit, and let's go ahead. Let's select this edge right here and this edge. These ones are kind of wrapping around. We're going to hit S to scale, X-axis, 0. Then we're going to hit G, X-axis, bring this over. Hit G, X-axis, bring this over a little bit more. Let's select these up front. G, X-axis, bring them over. So let's go ahead and line all these up. Select all these, make sure all these are selected except for these kind of these front 3. We're gonna make sure all these are lined up. S to scale, X-axis, 0. G, X-axis, bring them over. Make sure you're not overlapping over here. Okay. Now what we're going to do is hit 3 faces mode, select this face and all these right here. E to extrude, Y-axis. And okay. Hit 3 faces mode, select this face right here, G, X-axis, bring it over. Okay, select this face right here. And we're going to select all these faces right here, as you can see. And then E to extrude, bring them out. And then E to extrude, S to scale. Bring them down a bit, hit G, X-axis, bring this over a little bit, just so that these are kind of equal thickness around here. And then Eat Extrude, bring it in. Okay, that's looking pretty good so far. I'm liking the way that's looking. Now let's do something in here real quick. I'm going to select, leave this right here, select this face right here. Come down a bit. Okay. Eat Extrude, bring it in. We're getting a little more depth in the back end of the ship. Don't worry, we'll start adding some detail to the front end as well. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and collapse our mirror modifier again. If you're enjoying these videos, please do me a favor, hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because I mean, I like to know, you know, what videos you guys are enjoying, what's helpful, what's not helpful, or what I can do to help you guys better. So again, yeah, be sure you're, you know, leaving a comment and everything, and just let's get a discussion going, guys. So we're going to collapse our mirror modifier. Okay. Everything is all together. And then what we're going to do is we're going to delete half the ship again. Okay, Alt-Z. Select all these faces just to the right. This is looking down the back. Okay, looks like I got everything. Going to delete all these faces. Because the reason is now the top and bottom are going to be kind of different from each other. So we've got half a ship. We're going to go ahead, mirror, turn on clipping. If anything, this is giving you a lot of experience with or practice with using modifiers, whether you like it or not. Okay, hit tab, go into edit mode, Alt Z, turn off X-ray mode. Sorry. Okay. Now we're going to, let's see, we're going to select these upper faces right here. They're on the based on the upper part of the x-axis. Going to do Eat Extrude, bring them out just a bit. S to scale, Z-axis. And then we're going to select this face right here. Hit G, X-axis, bring it out. Hit S to scale, scale it down a bit more. Actually, S to scale, X-axis, 0. So there's a nice and flat. Then let's go ahead, hit 2 to go to edges mode. Select this edge right here, G, Y-axis. Okay, looking good. At least I think so. Select this edge right here, S to scale, X, 0. Hit G, Y-axis, just bring it back a bit. All right. Now we're gonna, so our pilots can see. Let's see, go to this ring right here. It's just by orientation, we got our fin right here. We're skipping ahead 3 faces mode. Select this face, and then Control and Shift, select all these. Now we're going to do an inset. We're going to do I to inset. Make sure it's individual insets, not a full inset. You have to hit I again to do the individual insets. Okay, that looks good. We're going to hit Eat Extrude. Make sure you still have Transform Pivot Point set to individual origins. So now we've got our front windows. We're getting a pretty good looking shuttle here, guys. Let's add a little more detail up top though. Let's see, let's hit 3, select this face and this face right here. We're gonna hit, let's see, want to add a little more detail here. Let's go back to median point right now, and we're gonna put on proportional editing. Hit G, Z-axis. Right, pull this up a bit just so we're kind of getting more natural shape to this. Gonna deselect a couple of these. G, Z-axis. Okay, looking good. Okay, edges mode too. Gonna hit G, X-axis. Bring these out a bit. Hit 1 to go into vertices mode. Select this x-axis. Let's go ahead and shrink it down a bit. We don't want to disturb all of these. Just trying to make sure we have a natural, kind of a little natural curve here. Okay, hit 3 faces mode. Select all of these. Let's see, looking at my reference. Okay. Select these two back here. Heat extrude, bring it up just a bit. Not too much. I'm going to deselect that, hit G, Z-axis. Okay. Turn off our proportional editing. Now we're just going to add a little detail up top here. Select these three faces in the back. We're going to do an inset, I, but we're going to do not individual insets, just one full one. Gonna hit Heat Extrude, bring that down a bit. We're going to do the same thing, kind of the same thing up front here. Inset, not individual insets again. Whoops, I hit escape, undo that. When you do an inset, we need to be careful though here. Do I to inset, bring this in just a bit. I'm actually going to select these vertices, just bring these out a little bit. G, X-axis. Okay, hit 3, select these faces right here. Heat extrude, bring it down. Okay, select these two faces. Now we actually are going to do an individual inset. So I and hit I again. Heat extrude, bring them up. And so yeah, that just adds kind of some nice detail here. I mean, you guys can kind of go around and add whatever details you want. I'm going to go around back to the back here. Okay, hit 3, go to faces mode, select these top faces here, and select these bottom faces. Looks like we got 5 up top, we got 5 down the bottom. Gonna do Heat Extrude as to scale, bring these down a bit, G, X-axis, bring them over a bit. Oops, looks like we got a little bit of overlay. We're gonna go back. Okay, let's make sure, let's turn on individual origins, Heat Extrude as to scale. Okay, G, X-axis, move these over a bit. Heat extrude, bring them out. Okay. Tell you what, I'm going to select this face. I'm sorry, I'm going to select this bottom of this top part here and the top of this bottom part. Go to median point, as to scale, Z-axis. Then we're going to hit G, X-axis, bring these over. G-axis, bring them over a little bit more. I'm back to the left, or at least outward, as you can see. I'm going to select these and these. Go back, turn on individual origins, Heat extrude, as to scale, G, X-axis, bring them over, and then Heat extrude, bring it in again. All right, and then select these two faces right here, Heat extrude, as to scale, G, X-axis, bring it over. Heat extrude, bring it out. Heat extrude, as to scale, G, Y-axis. Okay. Heat extrude, as to scale, G, X-axis, bring this over. And then heat extrude, bring it in, as to scale. And really at this point, you guys can kind of do whatever you want. I'm just, yeah, kind of running freely, doing some random details here. I think we're going to leave that as is right now, just so we can kind of get moving on with the rest of the tutorial. All right, so let's add some more detail to this. Then we're going to start adding some materials and giving a little bit more life to it. The purpose of all these tutorials is just mainly to work on your geometry and everything, because that's one of the most important things in Blender is your geometry. Build a good mesh, and then later you can start working on texturing and surfaces and everything. As you can see, I'm just kind of widening this part right here. Okay, then I think we're going to add just kind of the indication of some shuttle bay doors, or bay doors on top. Okay, selecting, actually let's take these two vertices, move them forward, just kind of line them with this one right here, because we're going to select here and then all the way there, and then we're just going to do an inset, I. Make sure you're doing a full inset of all these faces, not individual insets. Then do E to extrude, bring it up a bit. That's just kind of the indication of our bay doors on top of the ship. And I'm not liking how thick these are, so I'm going to hit Tab, hit 2 to go to Edges mode. Select all these edges here. Going to scale those on the Z-axis, bring them down a bit. Okay, so those are looking pretty good. I think we'll add, just for the fun of it, add just a little bit more detail on the back. Select these faces and these top and bottom, just parts of the rear of the ship. Need to change back to global. E to extrude, S to scale. Hit G, X-axis, move them over a bit. E to extrude, bring them out. Okay, E to extrude, S to scale. Move over on the X-axis, bring them in. And then select this face here and this face here. Going to do an inset. E to extrude, bring them out. Looking good. Do individual insets here. E to extrude, bring them out. Okay. Tell you what, the front of the ship I feel like needs to be a little more narrow, so we're going to look down our Y-axis, hit Tab, Alt-Z, go to Xray mode, select all these faces here, turn on proportional editing, S to scale, X-axis. Bring out the nose just a little bit more. Select, hit 1 to go to vertices mode and just bring this vertice out a little bit more. Scale down our proportional editing. Nope, don't go inward. Hopefully you guys don't hear my stomach growling. I'm recording this tutorial in the morning. I haven't eaten breakfast yet. Okay, our geometry is looking pretty decent. Yeah, let's start adding some materials to this guy. So, gonna go over to our materials panel over here. We're gonna add a new material, and I think we're gonna start off with let's see, let's make a nice dark material. I forgot we're still in solid mode. We need to go to render preview, and we need to add some lights. So we're going to hit Shift-A, add a light. We're going to add a sun. Hit G, move this up. I mean, it doesn't really matter where you put the sun. You have to rotate it around. That's how it moves the light. So let's see, rotate, Y-axis. And then we're going to rotate Z-axis. And then we're going to turn up the sun to about 5. So, okay. Ship's nice and gray. We're gonna Shift D, hit G, move over the X. We're copying our sun, moving it over. I mean, I know I said the where the placement is on the X, Y, Z and coordinates doesn't matter, but I just do this just to kind of keep track of my suns and everything, my light settings and everything. Let's see, R to rotate, Z axis, rotate it around. Oh, hold on. Let's move the cursor a little further away. Okay. Rotate Z-axis, rotate Y-axis. Okay, and we're going to bring this one down to like 3. Actually, no, let's make it a little more dim. So our stronger light is up here. And just for humor, this is a new document. And remember, guys, this is all about practice and repetition to kind of know what you're doing, or at least get an idea of what you want to do as far as your light settings. I'm going to go ahead and set my settings in this separate document. Feel free to use my settings as well. I mean, a lot of this depends on what kind of machine you're running. If your machine starts lifting off the desk and starts flying to the moon, you might want to tone it down a bit. Some guys I've seen, whenever they're rendering on their laptops, they'll put their laptop in the freezer. Whether or not they actually do that, I don't know, but it's pretty hilarious, but also seems pretty practical too. Okay. Oh yes, and let's make sure on our light settings under shadow, we set contact shadows. Whoops. Make sure. Okay. Contact shadows. That just makes the shadows a little more cleaner. All right. Now we need to define the upper paneling. So let's say hit 3 to go to faces mode. I'm going to come in down here, select here. Okay, from this face selected, we select all the way down here. We're actually going to select all of these. We're actually going to go shell's looking pretty good, at least I think so. If you guys are following along, hopefully, you're getting the idea and everything, and either, hopefully you've been able to follow along on, what I'm building, or maybe you've built something of your own. Let's see, are we getting, no, we're not getting an overlap there. I was a little worried we're having a little bit of overlap there. We're not. Let's see, just go ahead and there's this little edge right here. Let's just do a loop selection there. Because this whole upper panel of the ship is going to be white. Just kind of going for a NASA space shuttle look with this. Actually, let's say we're going to deselect that because we don't want that to run into where the fin is. Deselect that as well. I feel like there's a bit of, if any of you follow concept artists, this is kind of a Sparth-inspired ship somewhat. Sparth is definitely one of my favorite concept artists, and been following his work for probably about 10 years or so now. Just brilliant guy, and I mean, the amazing thing about him is he will respond like to your comments on his Instagram. I mean, I am not a professional concept artist by any means at all. I mean, I'm just an enthusiast, but like I'll comment on his posts and I'll like ask a question or something like that, and he will respond to me. And I mean, I'm just like, you feel like you've been, feel like you've had a god respond to you, and so and I mean, he's just a normal guy. I mean, he's amazing. Let's see, now we're going to stop right there. Actually, no, we're going to go all the way down here. Whoops, nope, not there. Select here. Okay, now with all these selected, we're going to create a new material. And let's see, go back to our materials tab. And hit plus, assign. Let's see, we've already, default is already white. Add new. But we're going to make it less bright, kind of bring it a bit, a little more of a gray. Don't want to blind anybody in space. It's really bright there. Let's see. Tell you what, we're actually gonna divide some polygons into triangles. I know I've said in the past, whoops. Let's see. We're going to divide some of these quads. We're going to into triangles. Select these two vertices here. Hit J, and then 3. Go into Faces mode and select Assign. And then going to do the same thing here. Select these two vertices. Hit J. Select this. Select these faces. Select our white material. Okay, makes that a little more smooth. Then I want to differentiate the rocket boosters a bit, so I'm going to leave them as is because I don't want to go through and select all these. This is going to be kind of a mess. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to select the faces. We're going to create another new material. Select these faces. Now, this is a bit tedious. If you guys don't want to do all this, you can just kind of fast forward. I mean, I know I can tell everyone jumps around on these. I mean, you know, you may not need to know everything that's in these videos and everything. And for those of you that are watching the full video, I mean, thank you, because it's upping my view count on YouTube and moving me closer to that 4,000 mark for monetization. But that's not the reason I make these videos. The reason I make these videos is so that you guys, I'm kind of spreading my knowledge and kind of how I do things in Blender. And as I said, the way I do it is not the right way. It's just a way to do things in Blender. And, I'm just sharing my knowledge and what I've learned. And hopefully this process is helpful to you guys and, learning the program or maybe finding a different way to do some things. Okay, just about there. Thank you guys for your patience. Okay, looks like we got all those selected. So we're going to add another material, assign, add new. And then we're just going to bring this one down, make it really dark. So it kind of differentiates from the engines a bit more. Well, looks like we need to differentiate a bit more. I'll tell you what, with this material, let's go back to let's go ahead and, because we're going to make this one metallic. Just going through and name our materials. So, okay, so this material that's on our boosters and some of the other details, we're going to make it a little bit more metallic. So we're going to go down here to our settings, and we're going to drag up metallic, bring down our roughness, and then I think we're going to lighten it a bit. Yeah, I'm liking the way that's looking. And that's still on this part right here. I think just to kind of differentiate, I'm going to select these faces here, these right here, and assign the black paneling there so those kind of pop out a bit more. I think I'm going to do the same thing with this right here. Select all these faces in here, set those to the black paneling. Cool. I'm liking the way this is looking. Okay, and then these fins. It's NASA regulations state that all fins on all aircraft are supposed to be white. I don't know if you guys knew that. Yeah, it's not true. I just made that up. Hopefully I gave you a laugh if you're still watching. And if you are still watching, be sure and leave a comment below. I mean, let me know if you're enjoying these videos and everything. Like I said, I keep saying it over and over again. This is, just to kind of spread my knowledge as to how I do things. Hopefully it's helpful to everybody. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, select these two. Okay. Need to make it so the pilots can see out of the ship. Oh, I just noticed I did something wrong here. I need to select this face right here, hit O, turn off proportional lighting, or click this little circle up here, hit G, X-axis. Okay, otherwise there's going to be a big blind spot here, and NASA astronauts would be crashing their ships because they couldn't see because of me. Hence why I've never designed a space shuttle. Okay, assign. And we're going to actually go with a gold kind of Sunshield look to this. I'm going to turn our metallic all the way up. So that, yeah, we get a nice shine off of that. All right, it's time to light this thing up. Let's start the engines. Let's see, change that to Sunshield. Z. Okay, select these two faces right here. Actually, let's go ahead and dissolve faces so it's all one face. And go over here, add a new material. And we're going to make this, or no, actually no, not boosters. Let's just make it engines. Going to click assign, and we're going to change from a principled BSDF to an emission. And let's see, let's go ahead and set 10. Whoa, bright. And let's go with a blue. You know, let's just go ahead and brighten up a bit more. Set to 15, so we get a nice glow. Okay, looks good. Starting to look like a shuttlecraft. Let's add a little bit more detail just to kind of bring out some of these features a bit more. We're going to duplicate our white paneling. Let's see. So what we're going to do is we're going to add, and then we're going to bring back our white paneling here, and then we're going to hit new material. We're going to rename it to white paneling 2. Make sure you didn't overwrite your old one. Make sure you still have white paneling 1 or whatever you named it. Some people have their own specific naming conventions. And let's go ahead. We're going to select, not that, we're going to select this little area up top here. Oops. Nope. Okay, got to zoom in here. Just select these faces, leave these as is. Okay. I'm going to set these to white paneling 2, assign. Now we're going to bring down the darkness just a bit. Tell you what, just to make these bay doors stick out a bit more, I'm going to assign the edges of those to the paneling, so we get a little bit extra detail there, or visibility, I guess, more the word. Okay, select these, and let's change these to the black paneling. Yeah, tell you what, let's go ahead and kind of zoom in here, select these and these. Go ahead and change these to white paneling 2. Okay. Just add a little more distinction to the fins. Let's select these faces here. And these. Okay, so let's see, we've got some kind of adding some more details here. Let's hit 3, go to faces mode, heat extrude as to scale. Scale this on the y-axis. G, bring it back on the y-axis. Heat extrude, bring it out a bit. And then we're just going to select all these faces. Make sure you have this just this kind of cube that's right here selected. We're going to just go ahead and give it the engines coloring. So we got some lights here. I'm going to do the same thing up here, although let's change from global to normal. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. And do, actually, let's do heat extrude as to scale. And then as to scale on the y-axis. Hit G, move along the y-axis. Oop, bring him back a bit. Heat extrude, bring him out. Correct some things here real quick. Select these, go to white paneling. Anyways, that looks good. I think we're probably done here. Next up is we're going to build the space station, but we're going to do that in part 3 of this tutorial series. I'm trying to keep these tutorials short and everything. You know, don't want to go posting, a 4-hour tutorial. That feels a little bit daunting and everything. But hopefully you guys are enjoying these, and if you do, please hit like and subscribe, and so you'll be notified of future videos, especially the next video in this series. Looks like this is going to be kind of a long series of videos, and but in the end, hopefully it'll be worth it, because hopefully you guys are enjoying these. And again, if you are, hit like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Thanks, guys.